Hey web world, Scotty D, thanks for stopping by Interface Webcast. This is my iPhone 5 and today I'm going to give you my review. And I've had this phone for about 2 months now since we did the unboxing. It seems like a long time to use something before I give a review, but I wanted to give myself plenty enough time to experience it in my everyday life in hopes that when I gave you my review, it would help you form an opinion. Is the iPhone 5 the right phone for you? Now, during the unboxing, I don't cover a lot of speeds and feeds, and if you watch the unboxing, you know what I'm talking about. But afterwards, I got a lot of emails from people saying, Scotty, talk about the speeds and feeds. And I said, you know, you can go out to apple.com/iPhone and read them for yourself. But if you want me to cover them, I'll cover them. So, the first thing that I liked about the iPhone was the size of the actual product itself. Top to bottom, when you're looking at it from this perspective right here, 4.87 inches. Side to side is 2.31 inches. And if you're looking at it from this angle right here, this little piece right here, 0.30 inches. That's less than a half an inch in depth. If you're sticking that into a pocket, a bag, a purse, whatever the case may be for you, this thing is very, very small. Light too. It only weighs 3.95 ounces. So it's almost like it isn't even there. I've carried this thing for a long time, walk with it in my hand. I don't really feel like I have a big brick in my hand. The activation, extremely smooth. I went from a prepaid cell phone service provider. Don't laugh, it was okay, but they were able to get my phone number over as well as all of my contacts from basically a flip phone to my iPhone 5. Very, very good. Now, because this is on the Verizon wireless network, this is the CDMA model. Some service providers use the GSM model. So there are two different flavors of the iPhone 5. One GSM, one CDMA. It really isn't going to affect the performance of the iPhone 5. It's just going to be the determination factor on how it connects into your service providers. Speaking of CDMA versus GSM, there are also three different selections of the iPhone 5 when you're going to go out and purchase it. One is a 16 gig, one is a 32 gig, and one is a 64 gigabyte storage capacity. The rest of the speeds and feeds and the functionality of the iPhone 5 are all the same. It's just the capacity that you gain by spending more money. So the price ranges from $199 to $299 to $399. So figure out what your storage capacity needs are, then select the iPhone that's within your budget range. During your activation, you're going to select a data plan. I started out with a 4 gig data plan on this, and I wasn't even scratching the surface on my data plan, so I was able to crank it down. So keep in mind, when you are selecting your service provider, make sure there are no penalties if you decide to move your data plan up and down. And speaking of your data plan, you don't always want to be on your data plan. And this guy gives you that capability by its Wi-Fi capabilities. It supports 802.11 A, B, G, and N, so just about any Wi-Fi connectivity you can think of, it will connect to. And once you set it up for the first time, it dynamically detects the Wi-Fi hotspot, and it'll transition the data transfers from the cell data plan to the Wi-Fi network dynamically. You don't even have to think about it. Now, I'm a big fan of GPSs. I've owned them for years. I have them in my vehicles. But when I got my iPhone 5, I had that peace of mind that I always have my GPS with me. This thing has it built in. What's nice about it is it's just not the average GPS. This is assisted GPS. So when you are on your mapping program and you're going from point A to point B, it'll actually voice talk you through your trip. And it'll tell you need to turn here, you're at your destination. That's what assisted GPS is all about, and the iPhone 5 has it built in, and it works very well. And you're going to see everything crystal clear on the Retina display, either in portrait mode or landscape mode. This is a 4-inch Retina display. Everything is crystal clear. Now, I've owned a lot of Apple products over the years, from the old iPhone 3G to my MacBook Pro to an iMac to iPads. None of them have Retina displays. And when I got this iPhone 5, I immediately noticed the difference. The colors are more vibrant. The letters are crisper. The lines are sharper. It's just a really good experience, whether you're looking at a map, you're watching a video, you're reading a book. Anything, even playing games, is crystal clear on the Retina display. The resolution is 1136 by 640 by 326 pixels per inch. Extremely dense pixels per inch and extremely clear on the Retina display. Now, they talk that this Retina display glass on top is fingerprint resistant. I have to disagree with them 100% on this one. I don't know how many times I've actually cleaned the screen, but it's more times than I can even count since I started using this thing 2 months ago. This thing is a magnet for fingerprints. I do recommend getting yourself a microfiber cloth, the kind you use on optical glasses, and just carry it around with you and use it to wipe down the screen. Now you could put an anti-fingerprint coating on this with those little plastic case coatings, but I really don't like those. I like to use the product as it was intended with the glass screen on it. And speaking of glass, this thing will break. So if you don't get a case, buyer beware. If you drop it on its corner, it'll shatter down here. If I can make a recommendation to Apple on a future version of the iPhone, I like the Retina display, keep that, but put some sort of a Gorilla Glass on this thing to make it a little bit more rigid than it is. Now, I've never broke mine before, but I've heard of people that I've known that have dropped this thing and shattered it, cracked it, stuck it in their back pocket, sat on it. Gorilla Glass type glass would at least give you a little bit more peace of mind and a little bit more rigidity to this product. Now, another thing I liked about the iPhone 5 was cameras. I like shooting video, I like taking still shots, and with the iPhone 5, I not only have one camera in my pocket now at all times, I have two cameras in my pocket at all times. I have what they call the front-facing camera, which is the side where the glass is at, and then I have a back-facing camera right here. But keep in mind, the cameras are not treated equally. One of them is a 1080p video shot camera. It also does very high definition still shots, and the front facing camera is a 720p camera, and it is an 8 megapixel FaceTime camera and still shot camera. So a good camera all around. You still should be able to take very good video and still shots with either one of these, but keep in mind, if you want the best video or still shot, it's going to come from the back camera on the iPhone 5. And speaking of the back, right next to the camera, this little white dot right here, that is an LED flash. Very, very useful for still shots and video. And if you get the right app, and I know you will, you can turn that LED flash into a flashlight. And I use that thing all the time. So once you get your iPhone 5, go out to the App Store, find the flashlight app of your choice, download it. You'll use this thing tremendously. Now, when you're taking pictures with the iPhone 5, you might find from time to time when you're looking at the screen itself, things aren't always in focus. Even though it says it has autofocus, sometimes it doesn't grab the shot clear enough, and you need to make sure that you're going to focus before you take the shot. To do that, just do a tap to focus right on the screen, and it'll focus the image that you're shooting. And whether you're shooting still shots or video, you're going to want some stabilization to the camera. Well, you can hold it stable, but I'm talking about the actual camera itself, because your body moves, and this thing has built-in video stabilization inside of it. Whether it's good or great is up for discussion. I have not found a way to turn off the video stabilization yet, if it does give you the capability to turn it off. So I don't know the quality of the video stabilization. It'd be nice to be able to turn it off, shoot some video, turn it back on, shoot some video, and see the difference. And when you're done shooting your pictures or your videos, you'd like to see them on a big screen. I mean, this is big, but 4 inches is not big enough for the whole family. So if you do have an Apple TV, you can use the AirPlay feature and play whatever is on your screen on your big screen and show it to the entire family and friends. Now let's talk about the outside of the device for a second. Let's talk about all of the buttons. Here on the top again, you've got your on and off button as well as your sleep button. You can press that. Over here on this side, you've got the volume up and down buttons as well as the mute switch right here. On the bottom, you've got your headphone jack, your microphone jack, your lightning port adapter, and your speaker phone. Now, what's great about this is when you have it in speakerphone mode, it's decent enough to where you can put it in your pocket and listen to it. The quality, obviously being a small speaker, is not going to be great, but it's decent. But the headphones that come with this are pretty good. Now, in a recent page I seen on Apple.com, they stated that they developed these earbuds with your ear shape in mind first. Now, I think in future reference, develop one that's well-rounded to the shape of your ears and the sound quality. Definitely a step up in sound quality from the old earbuds. Here are the old earbuds from the iPhone 3G and the 4 series, the round ones that were always falling apart with the rubber gaskets around them. So definitely a step up in the sound quality. Definitely a step up in the comfort when you're wearing them. You can see that they kind of hook into your ear the way that they design. They hook into the bottom part of your ear. So they don't tend to fall out, but because there's no rubber gasket, if you're sweating, if you're doing workouts with these things, they might fall out from time to time. But also keep in mind, there are a lot of ports on these earbuds. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, and then there's one down over here. Because of the amount of holes in these earbuds, they're not sound isolation earbuds. So keep that in mind when you have them in your ear. If you have the volume cranked up loud on this thing, people that are around you might hear the music that you're listening to. Or if you're on an important phone call and you think that you're having some privacy because you have your earbuds in, if you have the volume cranked up quite a bit on this, they might even hear the phone call that you're on. So just be careful, enjoy your earbuds, and just keep in mind that they are not sound isolation. The case that the earbuds comes with, they call this the carrying case. This is how they actually fit in there with those little dimples and stuff. You can get them back in, but it's a pain in the rear to put them back in every single time and take them back out, because you have to put them in a certain way and wrap the cable around. I just kind of found a different way to carry them in a different case, and I just don't use this anymore. Now, the power of the iPhone 5 is good. There's a lithium-ion battery inside of this that allows you to recharge it every single day or as needed, but you cannot take the battery out, so it's encased into the actual iPhone. So just keep that in mind to carry either a adapter for your car or some sort of a power cell that you can plug it into, that if you're going to be out and about for long periods of time and you're going to be using this quite extensively, there's no way to swap the battery out. It does use a different power plug adapter. Now, the old iPhone 4 and previous versions were using the 30-pin adapter, which looked like this. This is the lightning port adapter, completely different. So 30-pin, lightning port. Two different plugs. Keep that in mind, especially if you have external devices you're going to dock this into. You might have to get the 30-pin to lightning adapter changer and be able to plug it in and be able to dock it into a 30-pin device. So just keep that in mind on that. Now, the battery power on this is quite good, I think. I've never really ran out of it during a whole day of use, and I use it, I would call it moderately. Now, Apple reports you can get up to 8 hours of talk time on 3G. They don't talk about 4G talk time on this, which I thought was extremely confusing because mine's on the 4G network, 4G LTE. Standby time of up to 225 hours. Internet usage of up to 8 hours on 3G, 8 hours on LTE, and up to 10 hours on Wi-Fi, and video playback of up to 10 hours, so a decent amount of battery time for video playback. So if you're going on a trip, you should be able to get through at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 movies, depending on the length of the movie, before the battery drains out completely. Now keep in mind, that 10 hours of video playback time is if you had it completely fully charged, unplugged it from the charger, and then started watching video and don't take any phone calls and don't do anything else. That's what that 10 hours of video playback time equates to. Audio playback of up to 40 hours. Plenty of audio time on this device. Now, the experience on the screen is equally as impressive. I talked about the Retina display being smooth, crisp, clean, vibrant, but the touch experience is very good as well. I don't see stuttering at all on this. and that's important to me, especially because it's a touch device. I really want it to follow my fingers what I want it to do, and this thing does it very well. The A6 processor that the iPhone 5 uses gives you plenty of power and performance for your everyday needs, from texting to phone calls to surfing the web, shooting video, still shots, gaming, etc. You can even multitask on the iPhone 5, having multiple things running at the same time, double tapping the home button here on the front to swap back and forth between applications, still leaving plenty of overhead with that A6 processor to keep things running smoothly. So in closing, I really like the iPhone 5. A very solid product. It has room for improvement, as does anything else on the market as well. If I could have my way, I would have a micro HDMI port somewhere on the iPhone 5. It would just be nice to be able to plug that directly into a big screen without having to go through Apple AirPlay. But I understand it's not there now, maybe on a future version of the iPhone. Maybe even a micro USB plug to be able to do direct USB to iPhone data transfers. Sometimes you might need that. It's not on the iPhone 5, but hopefully something like that would be on a future version. I don't mind the Lightning port adapter. It actually streamlines the bottom. Some people have complained that they have old devices that they dock it into. I'm not a big complainer about that. I think that you need to evolve in time with your products, and the Lightning port is just fine with me. And if you don't do a micro USB on it, at least give me a micro SD card slot into it to where I can add additional memory on the fly. You know, if I'm using this for still shots, video, or anything, and I'm out and about on a vacation, I don't have time to go and swap this thing into a computer or a drive of some kind using iTunes to clean this thing out. I need to be able to add memory on the fly. So I think that that's an addition that they can improve on the iPhone 5. So I hope this review helped you. It's been a good experience for me. I'm going to continue to enjoy using my iPhone 5, and hopefully if you found the need to get yourself an iPhone 5, well, leave a comment in the video description below and tell me your experience. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends about Interface Webcast, and until next time, we'll see you, Web World.